Saturday morning's Traders Helping Traders session. This is a series by traders who use Apex Investing Trading Systems by Daryl Martin. The purpose is to help you see how we apply these systems and these tools provided every day by Apex in our own trading. My name is Lori, and I'll be presenting today's session. Today is about 5 and 20-minute binaries. I will answer any questions that you have, and we're going to look at some charts and review some trades. And we have a trade log here that one of our traders kept. It's an awesome log. I highly recommend keeping a log like this. And he has the supporting screenshots of his trades to go along with it. And so we're going to review his trades for a day. And this was not planned. This was just his trades, and he asked me if I could review them with him. And we were going over this. I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is the perfect thing for people to learn because it has everything. It has the good trades, the bad trades, the why did he take this trade? It's fabulous. I mean, this is, if everybody kept a log like this with the screenshots, I guarantee you would be improving really fast because it really tells you what you should and should not do. I mean, it's a really good learning tool. So that's why I thought, well, I asked him if I could use it, and he said yes. Thank you very much. And so here it is. I'm just going to start at the beginning. This is a 20-minute, he was trading 20 minutes this day in TF. And throw questions at me as we go. I'll answer them as we go because that's kind of, I would try to answer them as we go. That is when they're pertinent to what we're looking at. That will work, I think. Okay, he put green dots on all the trades he took that won, and red diamonds on the trades he took that lost. So that is the little key that he's got, and this is just his chart set up. So we're just going to start. His first trade he took at about 10:30. So this is in a 20-minute time frame. He used the 5-minute binary chart template that we have in the toolkit, and he changed the ranges to 20 minutes. And that looks like that's about all he did. Now, for some reason, we don't have volume showing up, so that makes it a little bit tricky, but that's okay. We're just not going to worry about it. Okay, the first trade was he got the arrows for a sell. And he has trend confirmation on here, but we don't look at it at all in the 20 minutes. And I'm sure he didn't look at it. And if this were me, I would have pulled it down so you don't have that distraction. But anyway, just giving you tips and hints as we go. Okay, so this one was a sell, and you can see it went down beautifully, and he won. He actually sells more looks like in the money. Not positive, but okay. So the next one he took, and he put the diamond right over the trade. So it looks like he saw this one going and didn't wait for it to confirm and jumped in, thought he was going to get ahead of the game, jumped in just a little bit early, and it lost. It only went up just a little bit and turned on him. If he would have stayed in, okay, what happened here was, when I remember, sorry, we went over this a couple weeks ago, and I have to remember as I'm going, and I've looked at so many charts, I don't remember all of them. But it started to go against him. And so he bailed because he was pretty deep in the money, if I remember. Well, let's see, looks like he sold it, bought it for $69. So that's pretty in the money. And it went down. So he got out when his strike was at 37. It looks like when it got down to 30, losing a lot of money. So anyway, he sold it, got out here, and then it went up to win if he would have stayed in. And I answered a question in the forum just this morning. Somebody asked, how do I know? Do I stay in or go out? Someone else did the exact same thing. They saw it going against them and they bailed. And I have found that if you stay in the trades, I always go at the money. So for me, when I was doing the 20 minutes, if I stayed in them, I actually overall lost less, losing the whole amount when I lost. But they come back to win so often that I found it's better not to bail. But he bailed out when it went against him. It would have won, but he bailed. So he lost that one. Then the next one, it looks like that was the one he got in early. I remember this one. And he saw it turning and he thought, okay, I'm going to get in early. Not so much. You don't know what the volume looked like there, and the timer bars were okay. But on a reversal, you really want to wait for the confirmation. He ended up losing. He's trying to get a jump on it, and it was a red candle, and the next one, it went down and exceeded that one. So it looked like it was looking good, but it was just taking a breather. And this one, actually, if you would have left it in, it would have came down to win. But since there was actually no reason to get in this, I think he did wise to bail on it. Okay, this one was a sell, and obviously it was a good one. It was confirmed. He got in, done, fabulous. Okay, and then this trade was really awesome. He got the confirm. It wasn't a trade, actually. Whoops. But you got the arrow. This would have been a great one. You're close to the end of the 5 minutes if you've got a good, if you look down here, man, these bars are not taking any time. You would have had some real quick bars coming in here. If you had time to get in right at the end, you wouldn't have had to be in for probably 30 seconds, and you would have won this one if you would have gone up. But anyway, trying to stick with the trades at hand here. This one, he sold, and he won. It's a really nice one. And you'll notice of all the trades that he does according to the rules, most of them are winners. And this, he got the confirmation, sold, done. This one, he got the confirmation, sold, done. And that confirmation, I mean the confirmation arrow. And this one he bailed on, but it would have won had he stayed in. And this one he won. So far, following the rules, all of these would have been awesome trades this morning. Okay, if we look at the next one, this was one of the tricky ones. It confirmed green, but yet as soon as it confirmed, the market turned and went down. So as I just get done saying they were all great, well, here's a honest to goodness, the market turned on him. Because when he went in here, the candle wasn't closed. And so he had no way of knowing it was about to go down. So that was just a case of the market turning on. Nothing you can do about it. It happened. And we try to avoid those, but there's really no way to avoid the ones that the market just turned. And he didn't get in this one. So look at the next one he got in. It was a green. It confirmed right at the end. Bang, done. Made his profit. And we didn't even hardly look at the stats on these, but all those look really great. Okay. Let's look at the next set of trades for that day. Am I missing any questions or anything? If I don't answer your question, throw it in there again because I don't want to miss any. Okay, so the next trade, I'm guessing he went for lunch here because he didn't take any trades in here. So it was over lunchtime. So not a real good time to be in the trades. When do you exit? I personally exit at 20 or 25 on the 20s. I want a $20 or $25 take profit. This particular trader went for, 74 to 49. That's pretty close to 25. 55 to 36, that's pretty close to 20. So he was taking a take profit of 20 to 25. If you enter at the money, the start of the 20 minutes, approximately how many bars to take profit? If you enter in the beginning, it's going to take quite a few because you got 20 minutes in here. So if you're at the money, it's hard to say. The bar timer, the red line and the bar timer are set at 3 minutes, sure, or close to it. It's hard to say. They've added strikes, and it's been a while since I've actually traded them. What I did, I went into, when I was trading these all the time, I went into the price ladder on Nadex, or no, actually I went into the scanner, and I took a screenshot of the scanner and of the price ladder so I could see, I took it at the beginning of the 20 minutes, 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in, so I could see how far I would have to move in order to, here, let me see real quick if I can find one of those. I may still have some of those pictures up, where I had pictures of the price ladders. Oh, geez. I didn't rename them. I don't know. No, I didn't rename them, so I'd have to go through a bajillion of them. But I used to take pictures of the price ladders, and then at different times, because if it's in the beginning, it takes a lot longer to move than at the end. So that's what I did, and that would give me a clue when I was back testing. It would give me a clue to know how much I needed it to move depending on where those arrows were. Like these right here, I mean, you're going to have to move maybe a bar to make your 20 or 25 bucks, maybe two. It just depends. It's been a while since I've done 20s, but here you're going to have to move twice the distance to get the same money as you have to move. Like I used to love going in right at the end and like kind of like scalping. If I had a good trend going, I used to love that. But that's probably why I stay in the 5 minutes now, because the whole 5 minutes acts like that. So I like it when I have a good trend. Okay, so now we are in the afternoon. He came back and we're trading again, and we had a buy. This one was just a little bit trickier. The bars are moving slower, but you just had a big market. It went down really fast right there, and then you had a big bar, so a big velocity bar, which means that it was moving fast. But then look, this last bar took forever to form. So it got down here and it's like not budging. So, to look for a reversal. That is a big heads up. Hey, our reversal's coming. Be watching. So then we get the reversal, we get the arrows, and in you go. Well, if you stuck around and didn't get scared out by these two bars, what happened? It won. So another one that shows if you stay in and don't jump out, then you're good to go. Okay, then you had the next trade he took was this one. And let's see, 1350 or so. I got to see what he was thinking on that one. Let's see, 1351. Okay, so we're halfway through the 20 minutes. He sold it at 69. Now he bought it. Bought it at 69. No, he sold it. He sold it at 69. He jumped early on that one. You've also seen where the long timer bar represents a rest before continuing down versus, yes, that happens. So you definitely don't want to get in just because of a long timer bar. That's not reason enough to get in, because it does, you're right, it does take a breath. Sometimes it's just catching its breath and goes on back. So this one he sold, and because it was because it was so close to the end, I'm not really sure. He's got a green, so he won this one. Honestly, I think it was a lucky one. I'm really not sure what would cause him to get in there, and honestly, I can't remember. We went over this a couple weeks ago, um, but it was whatever it was. He got lucky because um, if he would have gone in after the reversal, well, it turned and went the other way. So he got in early and went for it. Just tried a scalping trade, I guess. One of those really got lucky. Uh, Hang on a second. Getting a little feedback on why he went in this one. Oh, deep in the money. Okay. Said he went in deep in the money and he ended up winning it. So, okay. Okay. Oh, I remember one of those. Okay. I remember. I can't wait till we get to that one. That was a fun one. Okay. Then he went in another one, and this one he went in with these arrows, sold it. It was he had a long timer bar here, but generally you get the arrows, probably had volume, went down. It looks great. And he won. So not really a whole lot of. Okay, this was a interesting page. I remember this page. I have a few more red diamonds here. These are the ones we learned from. Okay, so he was jumping in, trying to do an in-between scalp here, I'm guessing. Let me see. 1425-ish. So that would be this one, 1426. Let's see. 1426. He sold it at 21. So he went deep in the money and sold it at 21. Okay. I'm guessing maybe he sold it on this one because I can't imagine. Maybe because it was at the top of the range and he kind of thought he saw that reversal bar, thought it was going to go down. But the lesson here is he didn't wait for the bar. He was trying to get a jump. Yeah, he said it was the reversal bar. But he did not wait for the confirmation. He was hoping to get a jump on it. It was near the top of the range. And what happened? He got hosed. So the lesson here is, when it gets to the top of the range there, and he had a reversal bar right here, but he looks like he got in just before that. But it looks great as far as everything we've been taught. You get to the top of the reversal bar, or top of the range bar, it's gonna reverse. Not always, but a lot of times it'll reverse. It's a good, but it doesn't always. And so you want to wait for your arrows, wait for your confirmation. And this is the kind of thing that if you keep a log and you keep your charts and you look at that and you're going, why did I do that? I mean, yeah, we know it was because it was the top of the range and we had a reversal bar and he thought it was going to go down. But, not a good idea. My recommendation, wait for the arrows and you'll be in better shape. Okay, the next one was a loss. And I believe that one was just he was late getting in. I remember that one. He had the confirmation, and for some reason he didn't get in until a little later. And he got in, and it went the other way, and he lost. And this one, I believe, was the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. Do you wait for both arrows to form or just the cyan? I would wait for the bars to both arrows to form. I do not jump on the cyan. I mean, in this case, almost all of the bars got a confirmation, and in this day, you would have been fine to get in on the confirmation. I mean, on the cyan bar. But there are days when it's real choppy and you don't. But okay, he said the bars were moving very fast in this one, so he couldn't get in until a little bit late. And by the time he got in, then it was too late, and he lost that one. And then there's another one here. Chop can kill you if you wait too long. Yeah, yeah. And I want to talk about chop. So um, let me get through these, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about some chop. I'm going to put up some more charts and see if we can find some chop and how to define it, how to see where the chop is, and what to do about it. So that's another thing I want to cover. So this trade right here, it looks again like he was just a little bit late maybe with it. And because of that, then he ended up losing it. It went down. The bar did confirm, but I think it was just a little bit too late. Okay, so the last chart for this group okay, was this one. Let's see. Looks to me like maybe he got in too late. Because if he got in right at the arrows, if it was at the money, he probably would have been okay. We're in the, let's see if we can see what happened. 1523-ish. There, 1525. He sold at 18. He sold deep in the money there. I am guessing that he just maybe got in a little bit late and it started to go against him, so he got out, is what it's looking like on that one. Okay. The bars were forming really fast, he said. So, okay, so the bars were forming really fast when it went down and he got in a little late. What's my preferred instrument for 5 minutes? I'm a UJ girl. I love UJ. UJ, and my second would be AU. I don't know if I've even taken a trade in EU or GU. Maybe I have. I might have. Probably, but I almost always play in UJ. It moves the most usually, and since I trade at night, I like the movement. I want one side to be open. I want one side to have an open outcry when I am trading that instrument. So if I'm not trading it during the U.S. session, well, all of them, all four charts, of course, the U.S. side's open. But if I'm trading at night, then only UJ or AU is open. So I want it to be open so I have some reason for it to move. And on this one, I'm kind of thinking that if I remember right, this was not an actual trend trade so much as, if I remember right, he said that he had somebody left and this is a really good one. I love this one. He was paying attention. Sometimes you can look and you can find strikes that you can find a strike out in the middle of nowhere that they've left a little premium in on. And that's what he did. He got in, if I remember right, 1173. Look where 1173 strike would have been, way up here, this strike. He found a strike way up here that had a little bit of premium in, and he sold it. I mean, is it going to get up way up here, when it's heading down? Probably not. And it was very close to the market close. And so he was all about it. Good job. And so he just waited. That was almost like a butterfly. He just waited for it to. It's kind of the same idea. Well, expiration premium collection, I guess you would call that maybe. Um, it was close to the end, and there was a little bit of premium left, and he just let it ride out. So that was what that one was. Okay, what I really wanted to do is put up my favorite old UJ and look at some trades. Yeah, let's just do UJ first. I'm just going to pick, well, wait a minute. We had a day when we had the 19th, wasn't it? When we had the FOMC day. Oh, that was a great. I hope some of you guys got in on that action. That was way too much fun. Okay. I think this was, and in fact, I think that might have been, UJ might have been not even the most exciting one to move at that time. Okay. We're on the 20th. Oh, there. Okay. Move that over. This is not stretching like I want it to stretch. Trying to stretch it out. Not cooperating. Okay, there we go. I wanted to get that when they did the FOMC minutes, but I'll just take any old spot here, and I just kind of want to look at some trades and go over some trades. So if you guys have some questions while we're going, I don't have volume loaded. You can't. FOMC is not cooperating. I mean, FOMC, FXQ. Anyway, I didn't load I didn't load the volume. If we just go down and look at some trades, different times of the day. I wanted to find some chop too, and so far we haven't seen any. But if you look at this trade, post a setting for the chart you use, like your setup. I have the settings that I use are pre-put into the what is it? It's in the toolkit. It's a template in the toolkit. We actually put the template I use in the toolkit with all the settings I use. It's at now I've forgotten what they call it. I haven't looked at them for a while. I've been so focused on futures. TC 3-tick binary or something like that. And well, let's see. I'll tell you. Binary TC 3-tick. That is my template. And it has everything that all the settings I use are on there. But if we look at, and this is set to 5 minutes. So I did want to do some 20 minutes. They're the same. Everything is the same in 5s and 20s. When I trade them, I do the same system, same everything, except I change my ranges to 20. And we can pull up. What would you rather see, 5 or 20? What do you guys want? I'll pull up a 20-minute if you want a 20-minute. You want 5? Okay. I can do a 20 after this. Okay, we got both. Okay, I will do the 5 first, and then I'll switch over. I have a chart pulled up. I'll just switch it to a 20 ranges, and we'll go through them. They're really the same. My strategy is the same. So, okay, Roderick, we'll get you a 20 in there too. Okay, these are 5s. So if we had, and now that they have more strikes, you have more choices. So you don't have the issue as often with no strikes. It still happens. It happens more at night because they have um, the first, some of the strikes will go out pretty fast when there's no movement, and so they can't make it too easy for you. Okay, but if you had here, say I'm going to assume we're going at the money, just because it's easier to figure. We can't always figure where the strikes are, and since they've added strikes, I haven't studied how far it'd have to move. So if we went in at the money on this arrow, it's a win. And on this one, if you went in at the money, and then in the next 5 minutes, it would be a win. And I mean, I am not even looking at volume. I know we have the rules that tell you, oh, I wanted to pull that up so you could have, I was going to put the cheat sheet in here. So you had the rules and all that stuff. And even just going through and looking for the arrow setups. You have an arrow, and if it occurs at the end of 5 minutes, use it in the next one. You have it in here. If you went at the money, you would have won. It would have been a nail biter because look at how, it went down and it just sat there and sat there, but it eventually would have come up. Well, 5 full minutes of biting nails. Oh boy. And in this one, it's taking a long time. Just look at this. We're 7 o'clock in the morning here, so it's not moving real fast yet. The U.S. isn't open. Japan is not open, so I don't like to trade it at this time of the day. But anyway, you had a confirming red arrow. Here's your line. If you would have went at the money, bang, got it. Another one, confirm up. It hit. Oh, we would have had a loss. First loss of quite a few. I mean, really, the numbers are with you. And if you would have gotten in at the money, you would have gotten eaten up on that one. But you can't win them all. You won't win them all. So the market is going to turn on you. You just want to wait for the right setup so you don't have it turn on you too often. On this one, it's at the end of the 5 minutes. So you take that arrow into the next one, bang, you got it. And this one, this was a longer, you had a lot more movement in this 5 minutes. And look at what time of the day we're getting to. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're getting some action coming in here. You're going with do you see where the apex? This is the trend catcher. It's like the MVP line. I don't know if that's the trend catcher or if it is the MVP line. But anyway, it's going, you've got everything going in your direction. You're going in the direction of the apexes. They're red. Everything's going your way. You got a red arrow coming in, and I'd be all about it. Bang, done. You got it. Trading between the arrows on a trend. When you have a solid apex, and if you know the apex system at all, you'll know that the second apex of a certain color is the valid one. So for example, you had a valid, was it valid? Well, you didn't quite have the red MVP going here, but it's pretty darn close. It was flipping here. If it flips within a bar or two, they say. It's hard to say because this is a 3-tick and that's not all the same rules. But your second apex is valid. So anyway, you've got a red apex pattern going, and you've got a nice trend going. To trade it in between the trends on this is absolutely where I'd be going. I mean, I look for a perfect setup like this. Look at these velocity bars. You've got some fast moving velocity, and you'd never be able to get in on those bars because they're moving so fast. Those are 0-second bars if they're yellow. But you've got your arrow confirming. You've got your trend catcher MVP, whatever, I can't think of what you call it, predictor line here. You've got this in the right direction. You're going down. You're approaching this little red line is the low of the day. So you're approaching the low of the day. There's a good chance it's going to hit the low of the day. So if you're in this 5 minutes, if you can get in, that would be great. Even in this 5 minutes, if you can, that'd be awesome. In this 5 minutes, I'd still be pushing to go in because you've got a little space between you and that low of the day. Here, I would have hesitated for myself because you're hitting the low of the day, and then this little dash line is yesterday's low of the day. And to me, I would be watching those, and that could be a line they might bounce off or they might stall. And you can see that they did stall when it hit this area. These overlapping boxes mean that these bars were taken for a long time to form. And look, you've got, well, the bar timer doesn't show a whole lot on here, but they didn't, well, I guess they didn't take a long time to form. They're overlapping, so they were in both. They went really fast. What am I saying? So it was going so fast you wouldn't have been able to get in. It's when they're squished together that it's taken a long time. But when they're overlapping and you actually see two different bars, range boxes, that means it went so fast it was in both of those 5 minute sections. And if they are just normal, they'll close and meet like this. But if you see these, then it's moving fast. Okay, so it's moving down and it's making new lows. So, and now you're at the bottom of the range box and it's still going. I'm sure it probably had exceeding volume. So if it had exceeding volume, you're pretty safe to still get in and go with the trend. And it's going to take a breather at some point, and this was its breather. And unfortunately, if you had gotten in on this one, you would have lost because of this little breather. Those are the ones you just never know about. But look at all these other ones you could have gotten into. So, I mean, it's going to take a breather every now and again. And if you happen to get in on it, well, that's the luck of the draw. But there was a lot of really good trades in there. And then when it is done holding its breath, down it goes again. And here you've got a valid apex. You've got your arrow confirming. You've got your bar velocities tall, which means it's moving fast. If you could have gotten in, because it was moving really fast. So I don't know if you really would have been able to get in, but if you could have gotten in, that would have been some fast money. I guarantee if you would have set your take profit at trying to get 25 bucks, I guarantee you probably would have gotten 35 or 40 before you got in or got out. And it would have been an instant thing where you wouldn't have even seen that take profit be in there at all. But anyway, then we've got jump ahead here. Another one, you've got your confirm, looking at the money, because I can't see what strikes are available. There's always going to be an at the money strike because there has to be a strike where the underlying is. So would have been a great one. Here we're going with the apex, and literally the AP, the E. We've got an E. We've got a trend catcher. Those are no-brainers. Sell it at the money. If you go too far out of the money, it's you might not have got it on that one. That's why I'm kind of going a little closer to at the money on these now. Market makers have kind of caught up with that out of the money thing. And in the very beginning, if you're not in the beginning of the first couple minutes, I personally would not do out of the money unless you got a strong trend and right at the very end, which I hop in on sometimes. But beginners, I wouldn't recommend that at all. I would say if you're going to go out of the money, stay in the first couple minutes, and that's probably your best anyway, to be in the first few minutes. This was already at 8:47, and it didn't move a whole lot, so you probably would have had some strikes to get into, but it would have been a valid one. Here's another one. We've got an arrow at the money, would have won. And I do want to find some chop. Oh, we're at the end of our, okay, let's go back and see if we can find some chop. It really depends on the time of day. Sometimes those at the monies at night can cost just $60 or $65. The question was brought up, how much are you paying for at the money strikes when after both arrows have formed? And a lot of times at night, you're going to pay a little bit more premium just because it's slower. And during the day, at the money, generally between 45 and 55, 60, somewhere in there. Between 40 and 60, anywhere in between there. I'm not seeing the chop I want to find. Of course, now that we're looking for chop, we don't find it. This looks like the one that Cameron was doing. But here we got, if you went at the money, sell, bang, done. At the money, buy, bang, done, got it. This didn't confirm, stay away. This one, at the money, buy, you got it. I mean, there's the numbers are, the percentages are with you if you stick with the arrows if you're a beginner. I would highly recommend sticking with the arrows if you're a beginner, although sometimes you have to wait. Just because there is a trade every 5 minutes does not mean you should be taking one every 5 minutes. What's the small line above a candle? You mean this little black line on the entry bar? This red line here? Not sure what you're asking. What's a small line above a candle? That is the confirmation line. That is, okay, that's this line, this cyan line. Once it's confirmed, it will turn red or green. It's, see, we didn't have any confirming arrow here because it turned and went up. So the cyan line stayed cyan. And then in this case, it was a cyan line until we got the confirmation and it went red. So that is, that's what that is. That's your entry. That line is not the strike. It doesn't have to be this. I mean, that's the strike that it has to. It's not the strike. It is the where the market has to pass through in order for that to be confirmed. Because with binaries, we never worry about confirmation set to true or false in the trend catcher itself. I'll show you here what I'm talking about. Okay, the trend catcher. Requires trend catcher confirmation. No, never, ever, ever in binaries. Because, I mean, you can, if you're doing hourlies or dailies, that might be something else. If you're some other system you're checking out, but for 5 minutes, you never, ever, there's no reason to have it confirm anything, because what that is it's confirming against another trend. And in the 5 minutes, you just want to grab a fast trend and get the heck out of Dodge, grab your profit and run. So if you're looking at, like this one, for example, it went up, and so this was a cyan line. And then you got your confirmation because it did hit that line, but what happened? It went back down. So that's one that you would have lost, and you never, I mean, you know, it's one of those icky statistics that you don't want to get into, unfortunately. But you just, you know, you have to hope. This one never confirmed. It never hit that line, so it stayed cyan. And then the next one, this one hit. I don't know what it did. It won. So you always want to wait for your confirmation. And on this one, it might have confirmed, between the two bars. So, and this one you would have lost because it went up the next one. This is getting choppy, and this is what I want to talk about. What does the P and the E mean? The P and the E are part of the apex pattern, and that is your little confirmation that you have. It is a whole nother system, and I don't want to get into all the specifics of it because that could take a whole THT session or 2 or 3. But when the settings are just right, it will give you, the E is the entry bar for that system. So when you've got an apex, a valid E, a red E and a red bar and a red arrow, that's all really good signals. That's a no-brainer, get in it. What I use for binary scanner settings, for this, I can't show you because it won't come up and show anything, but just using the apex pattern. Well, that's one confirmation I use. The apex pattern is one confirmation I use. And for the scanner, I don't really have any. I just have the 5-minute expirations up when I'm doing the 5 minutes on the scanner, and then I just I don't have any specific. I don't rule anything out for that. So it's just, I don't have any special settings in there. Okay, here's a little spot where it's getting choppy. I want to talk about chop, and then I'm going to put the 20-minute chart up quick. We're already approaching an hour. I can't believe time flies when you're having fun, huh? But we're getting 3 bars, and it's changing. 2 bars, and 2 bars of change and change. Basically, my general rule, if you get 2 or 3 bars and it changes, and it changes, if you don't have a trend of maybe 4 or 5 bars, I tend to stay out. Like you had a nice trend here. Well, here's another example. Okay, this is what clues me in that chop could be coming. I'm going to be watching. I've got a valid, confirmed arrow, and my bar closed. It would have been a valid trade. My bar closed red. That would indicate there's a good chance chop is coming. I've noticed. The tails on the bars come by using the candlestick instead of OHLC. Oh, there's my little background noise. Yeah, but the OHLC have the same thing. They just don't look like a wick. The whole bar comes up here. So it shows the same thing. It's just the whole bar comes up, but the entry, or the little where they connect, is where it started and ended. So it will show you just a tall, big bar there instead of a wick. It's just a matter of how you read those bars. If you had an OHLC bar, one of the kind that Daryl uses, the whole bar would be a tall whole bar, and it would connect to this bar here, and it would connect to this bar at the bottom where it closed. So if that helps you at all, I don't know if I can draw that at all. If you had an OHLC bar, it would look something like this. It would come over from this bar. Nope, it's not drawing for me. Thank you very much. Come on. There we go. Okay. I don't think it's going to work very well, but let's try it. If you had an OHLC bar, you would come over from this one. It would come over, attach here. It would go up. Yeah, this isn't going to work very well to draw this. It would come up. It'd be a big bar. I don't know how to put it in mode so it stays drawing, but I know there's a way to do it. But it would come down here, and it would just attach to your next bar at the close. So it would be, it shows you the same information, would attach here. That's what your OHL, a little bit cleaner, but that's what it would look like. It'd just be a whole taller bar, where with these, your open and your close, and then where it exceeded the open and close are going to be look like wicks. So anyway, getting back to chop, when you have a red bar, a green arrow, that's going to be my first indication chop may be coming. And so I'm going to be very careful. And since this was at the end of the hour and I saw that it had to exceed here, or did it? Yeah, this would be your exceeding. So it must have had, you can't see it right at the hour, it must have had a wick that came up and touched that, which caused it to confirm. And then if you went in at the money at the confirmation, well, you would have been really close. It's hard to say exactly. But if you went in at the money or just a little tiny bit in the money just by any bit of a strike, you would have ended up winning. But anything out of the money on that one, you wouldn't have. But anyway, you've got 3 bars and it changes a bar. It changes and it changes. I mean, that's chop. If you have, for me, if I saw this happening, I would be tending to wait. And then you had a nice run, so I would be kind of kicking myself going, oh, I missed that nice run. But then you have this going down and it changes. Then I would be saying to myself, okay, I'm going to wait till it gets out of this chop. You do one of two things. You either wait until it's done chopping, then you're going to miss a trade because you got to wait a little while to see that it's going to miss it, that it's going to be out of its chop, and you will miss that. Or trade through the chop, just keep trading, and you will eventually come out of chop and you'll win. So it's a matter of, do you want to wait and miss a trade, or you're going to just trade through the chop and keep going, and eventually it can't chop forever. It's going to trend. It's going to trend, and if you're not trading through the chop, you'll miss it. Daryl would say, trade through the chop, and I generally don't. My account wasn't that big when I started, so I'm a little more, I've always been a little more conservative. I would rather wait through the chop, I would have missed this trade if I was waiting through the chop, because how do I know we're not going to get another 2 bars and have it change? But once here that it didn't, we had a nice run, 4 bars, and then it didn't change, I'm inclined to think we're done with chop. Okay, so I want to get to the 20 minutes quick because I said I would. So let me make YM. Oh, a lot of adjustments. I forgot to have a 20-minute up. Okay. Just quick. Change the range bars. Okay, where are you? Bar range. That's not what I want. This one. Period minutes. I already had it set to 20. Well, that's interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've been trading futures with 20-minute bars. Yay. Okay, let's turn off some of this stuff. Trend catcher. I do not need the stats in these stat things for binaries mean nothing. Ignore them. They have nothing to do with binaries, nothing at all. Okay, so I am already in 20-minute bars, so we'll just take that off. This was when I was trading on futures. Now I know to go back and check all my charts. Okay. See, we've got where we got a green bar, a red, red, green. There's that chop again. Probably the same time. Okay, stretch it out just a little bit. Okay, we got 20 minutes here. 20-minute binaries. So we're at 10:18 in the morning. We've got a cyan, and I need to move the A's. I would offset. You can change those and offset them a little bit higher up, the arrows, so they don't come at the same time. I had them set that way, but okay. So we have an cyan that did not confirm. Oh, it didn't confirm because my confirmation set to on. Well, because I've got it set up for futures. Requires trend confirmation. False. Okay. Sorry about that. Was not quite prepared. I was thinking I had everything set up. Not so much. By the way, I was up late last night testing the new version of the trend catcher that's addressing a few of the issues of trades that change mid-bar. And when we're done with this, I'm going to be doing some testing of that. I'm going to put my camera on chart for futures and actually sim trade on market replay with the latest upgrade for the trend catcher to just see how it works. Okay, Randy asked, do I have trend measurement 15 and smoothing set at 0 for the 5s? I like it. It's set at 0 for the 5s because it flips faster. I put a little note in the forum that will explain those two measurements that you can change. I'm not sure where mine are set right now, but I like them to flip fast. And sometimes I'll adjust my settings so that I can put it where someone else, when I'm helping someone, so I'm not sure where they're set right now, to be honest with you. If I'm helping somebody else set my charts how they like them, and then we'll kind of work on it. So I'm not sure. I like them set so they can flip as fast as they can, but other people like to let them flip a little bit later where they aren't stuck in this chop. Because here we got some nice chop in here. This one confirmed, and yet it hit, it went down. Let's see, it's hard to see it, but here's where the confirmation bar was. So it confirmed, and it went down, and this is where you take your profit, because it actually would have come down and taken profit at some point, and you would have taken profit if you left it just to expire. You would have. No, it expired right at the thing. So this one would have been a winner. Okay. This one again would have won, even in this chop. This one would not. Well, it's hard to say. No, it's not hard to say. You would have lost. There's the confirmation. You would have lost that one. Okay, you get this confirmation here, and I go in at the money. It would have been another loss. But then look, here at the money, win. At the money, this would have actually won. This is a nice big chunk here to go down. You probably would have won if you were at the money. And I always go at the money on 20s because I want it to move as fast as it can to get me out. I don't want to wait around for the slower moving in the monies, and I don't want that much in when these things don't take a whole lot to turn around and get you. On trend catcher, on binaries, you do not use trend confirmation. You use just the arrows. And when that arrow pops up, that is your only confirmation you need. You do not use the confirmation bar at the bottom, and you don't set it to true at all. That's just for futures. That's not for binaries. The trend catcher does not take into account the time and the basically options you cannot trade with trend catcher using the statistics and all that kind of stuff. It does not take it into account. So here's another one where, I mean, if you got in right here at the money, it may have moved fast enough to get you. Probably not. But, okay, if we start, let's keep going here. Oh, we're at the end of the day. Okay, well, let's go back and look at a few. Okay, now I don't know why we wouldn't have gotten a, oh, that's where, okay, history isn't loading any more than that. So it's starting to load right here. Okay, here's your line at the money, you would have won. Here's your confirm at the money, you would have won. Here's your confirm. If you took a small profit, 20 bucks, you would have won. Another winner. Another winner. Go in, here's your confirmation line. When it hits, the arrow turns red. You buy at the money, you got it. I mean, the numbers are there, and the percentages of wins are awesome. If you jump in early, you try to beat that cyan arrow. You can see during the day there's not too many unconfirmed arrows, and that's pretty typical. If you look at this one, you're starting to, just that little bit of chop, but it had a nice trend. And you had that one arrow that didn't confirm. But actually, if you would have been trying to beat the arrows there, you would have won that one anyway. But you always really want to wait for your arrow to confirm. That's your only confirmation in the binaries. And this one would have lost because it did confirm. It hit that line, and over here, actually, it would have hit it again, but it wouldn't have. I don't think that would have been enough to make you 15 bucks. It was late enough. Oh, wait a minute. 9:38 is late enough in the day. It might have in the day, in the 5 minutes or 20 minutes. 38. You had 2 minutes left to go. You're almost in the dark zone. You might have been able to take profit right there. That's really iffy. But what questions do you have on the 20s? I mean, that's just what I found with mine. I was trading 20s almost exclusively before the 5s came along. And I was also trading the apex pattern, but the profit proppers. But now the trend catcher catches all those. Like I would trade an E. Well, it comes up on the E. Every time there's an E, it comes up an arrow. So it profit poppers in the 20 minutes, if you have trend catcher, you really don't need them because you've got all those pivot points marked. Do you go in at the beginning of the 20s? I would go in at about any point in the 20s. I try to avoid the last 5 minutes, but then I would do sometimes trend collection in the last 5 minutes. My concern, at least with the 5s, is that you have to have 3 20-minute profit winners to offset one $60 at the money loss. Yes, Dale, you're right. That is, if you're trading, if you have the time to trade during the day, then you can set these for $20 to $30. I mean, you can go for 25 to 30 a lot more often. During the day, at night, you need to keep it down because there's just not a lot of movement. If you have more volatility, you can actually go for more profit. It's just recognizing what your market is doing. Like, for example, if we look around, okay, market opened right here. Well, 10 after. These are not, okay, yeah, 9:40. So the market opened right in here. And this is YM. And generally, it's not the market I would choose to do 20s in a whole lot. I like TF for doing 20s. But I didn't have a chart pulled up this morning on that. I'm sorry. But you can go for, look at that. You got a little bit longer of runs, generally speaking. You can usually get 30 or 40 in the daytime, even. I mean, I used to go for 40 quite a bit. It kind of, look at the volume, and I didn't load the historical volume, but if you look at your volume, if you've got a lot of volume, go for more profit. If you've got just barely meeting volume or barely exceeding, if you've got a lot more things going in your favor, you go for more profit during the day. At night, I still wouldn't recommend. I would stick with pretty lower profits. But if you've got, it's all about reading. That's why you practice. Read your indicators. The deviation is not on the 5-minute charts, I don't think, but the range boxes are. So these range things tell you if you've gotten close to your high to low expectancy for the day. Watch that indicator and look at it, and learn how to read this. And I don't want to get into it today and make this THT end up being 3 hours long. We've done that before. I don't want to have a Daryl Martin webinar where it goes so long. I want to keep them short so that they're easy to watch. Dale, you might, the 20 minutes are good. If, I don't know, I hate them now that I do 5s, but they're too slow for me, but I don't know why you'd want to, except for not being able to move fast enough, or you think too much. If you think too much in the 5s, you're going to get cremated. I mean, you really, in the 5s, you see an arrow, get in. I mean, you just do it. You kind of, you can't be thinking about everything. If you're in demo, just demo the heck out of them and go in your arrows and practice checking your volume. Be watching your volume, be watching your chart, be watching so okay, you've got a lot of volume. So if you get an arrow, you're ready to move. If you, know what's happening around you as you're watching your chart. Instead of, you might be watching TV and all of a sudden you see an arrow. Okay, oh, gee, do I go in? You got to know what's happening around you. And be watching your market. Watch for news so you know what may or may not be happening. It's all about reading what's going on around you so you can be ready. You get an arrow and pounce on it. Confirm arrow or cyan arrow in the 5s. In the 5s, both of them, you wait for your confirm arrow. But when you get the cyan arrow, that gives you, that's definitely your time to, hey, look around. Do you have volume? How fast is the market moving? How far are you from your range box edges? Where are you? What do you expect might happen? You don't want to predict what's going to happen because that'll kick you. But you do want to have an expectancy of what's going to happen. I mean, are you near the top of a range box and you don't have a lot of volume? You're probably not going to push through it. Buying into that would probably be a bad idea. But having said that, it does happen. Usually you have to have volume to push through it. So if you've got a lot of exceeding volume, well, you got a better chance of it pushing through. And, but it's about practice reading the market, really. Reading thing that Daryl did. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I may have to put it in the room. Oh boy, I didn't just do that. Okay, I'll have to put it in the room later. Because now I've really messed up my charts here. Okay, let's do this. Anyway, there we go. So, any other questions? Okay, I'm going to wrap this up and pull up the futures. I'm going to take the camera down, pull up futures, and um, you're welcome. And I'm going to sim trade for a while on the updated version of the new trend catcher in futures. And I will try to be around a little bit more at night. Thanks, Dale. And see if I can help you guys more in the evenings if you're around. And see if we can get you guys making some money. I really want to help you guys make money because it's the 5 minutes and the 20 minutes are great. It's there. You just got to really learn to read your market and follow the 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. Yeah, that's that. Generally, I'm taking a break between 5 and 7. I try to take a break, so I'd have to say maybe more like 8 to 10ish, 7 to 9, somewhere in there. But I mean, you can always come in the pit and say, hey, can you go in the elite room and show us something or whatever? If I'm around, I'm happy to do it. And I'll put up whatever charts we can go through. We can go through trades, try to do it as live as possible. I have a really hard time. I've tried to trade live, but it's on camera with the scanner. It's really hard because the camera slows you down. What's the smallest account? Oh, geez, you would have to ask that. That is totally a huge personal thing. It depends on what market you're going to start in, and what you're going to trade. For me personally, I wouldn't want to start less than 5,000. That's just me personally, but the more you can start with, of course, the better off you are. So that's what next week's THT will be on, setting up your sim trader, questions on Ninja Trader versus AMP, different brokerages, all those miscellaneous questions that everybody's got and nobody knows who to ask. And there's a lot of videos on it all. Daryl's got it all covered. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody that's done it. So I'm going to see if I can get a group on here that will have, you can ask questions to, and there will be lots of people to answer questions. So it won't be just my opinion, because that's what you're getting is just my experience here. So, okay, I'm going to shut my camera off so I can set up my